welcome to the Deep Dive. So today we are going on a pretty interesting mission. We're exploring the historical and psychological mechanics of the golden calf.
Right, and we're drawing this from a recorded religious sermon we've been reviewing.
Exactly. We really want to unpack how, convenience and political manipulation can just easily masquerade as genuine belief.
Yeah. And just to clarify right off the bat, we're not talking about the famous golden calf.
Right, the one everyone knows about.
Right, the one made hastily under peer pressure in the desert by Aaron. We are looking at a second, deeply calculated instance by an ancient king named Jeroboam.
So most people know that first hastily made idol, but this source focuses on a totally different scenario. Why would someone intentionally build a second idol? I mean, it starts with a disastrous political split, doesn't it?
It really does. So King Solomon passes away, and then his son, Rehoboam, takes the throne.
Okay, brand new management.
Exactly. And the northern tribes immediately approach him. They are just completely exhausted, and they're begging for tax and labor relief.
Which, that seems like a fairly standard transition of power. The workers are unhappy, so they ask the new boss for better conditions.
You would think so. But Rehoboam gives just a historically catastrophic response. He essentially tells them that his pinky finger is thicker than his father's waist.
Oh, way.
Yeah, and then he threatens to beat them with scorpions instead of whips.
Wait, really? So he inherits a total monopoly, the workers ask for a break, and he responds by threatening them with scorpions.
Basically, yes.
That is a spectacular failure of leadership. He essentially hands his competitor half the kingdom on a silver platter, like an arrogant CEO totally mishandling an employee strike.
He absolutely does. The North immediately rebels and crowns Jeroboam as their king, but Jeroboam wakes up the very next day with a massive user retention problem.
Because the main temple is in the rival capital, right, down in Jerusalem.
Exactly. He controls the northern territory, but the center of their faith and culture is in Rehoboam's capital.
Ah, I see where this is going. If his people keep traveling south to worship, eventually they'll just, defect back to the old kingdom.
Right. He needs a psychological and physical wall to keep them in. So to stop citizens from defecting, he launches this 5-step, state-sponsored idol project.
Okay, wait. 5 steps. What's step 1?
Step 1, he just outright bans travel to Jerusalem.
Banning travel. Got it. But a ban isn't enough, right?
No, he needs a powerful incentive. So step 2, he mints these highly crafted, state-funded golden calves. And step 3 is placing them at incredibly convenient border towns, Dan and Bethel.
Making it super easy to just stop there instead. But hold on, if the original golden calf from the desert was this legendary disaster that everyone knew about, why on earth would a new king think making 2 of them was a winning strategy?
Because he wasn't selling rebellion, he was selling convenience. He basically framed it as, it is too much for you to go all the way up to Jerusalem.
So he just removed the friction.
Exactly. And then for step 4, to cement this new system, he totally bypasses the Levites, the legitimate traditional religious authorities, and appoints just everyday people as priests instead.
Let me guess. To install yes men. If you hire people who owe their newfound status entirely to you, they aren't going to question the fake golden calves.
Spot on. He manufactured compliance. And the final piece of his strategy, step 5, was shifting the traditional holy festival back by exactly 1 month.
Why bother changing a date by just 4 weeks?
To completely desynchronize the North from the South, it severs their shared cultural rhythm.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, when Jerusalem is celebrating, the North is working. When the North celebrates, Jerusalem is working. It cuts the invisible ties binding the 2 kingdoms.
It is the ancient equivalent of a walled garden strategy. Like a tech company locking you into their ecosystem by making the competitor's product just slightly too inconvenient to sync with.
That is a perfect way to look at it. And he weaponized nostalgia to make it work. Look at where he placed one of those calves. Bethel. Bethel literally means house of God. It was a deeply sacred location named by Jacob after his famous Stairway to Heaven dream.
So Jeroboam isn't building a new religion in a vacuum. He's building a fake replica of a famous monument right down the street from the real thing, specifically to siphon off weary travelers.
Yes. The most effective deception isn't an outright denial of the truth. It's taking the truth and slightly twisting it to perfectly match what people already want.
Which the source links directly to modern behaviors, right?
It does. Think about how often people treat faith like rubbing the Wall Street bull to make their stocks rise, or adopt a gambling mindset with investments.
Or like embracing prosperity theology that just feeds our endless consumer desires.
Exactly. Which brings this right to you, listening to this deep dive. Jeroboam's strategy worked flawlessly because human nature gravitates toward the easy path.
We want the blessing, but we want it right at the border town. We don't want to make the trek.
Right. It forces you to consider where you might be settling for a golden calf in your own life, opting for a comfortable illusion over a challenging reality.
A frictionless life is the modern dream, after all. But if the ultimate deception is just a really convenient imitation, what comfortable truths have you recently accepted?
Right.
Simply because they required absolutely no effort to believe?